As we move on to the next round in this series, we only have 3 rounds remaining in the entire season. We have just 2 more rounds of playoffs, this being the second one with 2 races, and then the final race of the season coming up in just a couple weeks' time. Everything is closing down, and some of the drivers near the back of the field really need to place their bets and make some moves to the top. And what other better place to make those bets than here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway? My name's Finny DeCuna here with Hunter Sleppy and Connor Horn. Guys, glad to have you back with me here for some fantastic racing. We saw 4 drivers eliminated last week from the playoff season, and now 4 more will be eliminated in 2 weeks' time. The field is closing down, and we're running out of people that are really all trying to chase James Coley because he has got a massive lead.
Yeah, as well, when we do pull up the points, you'll just see how incredible it is. You thought his lead was big on Tuesday night. This is a whole other story. No doubt about it. He's been the guy to beat at these tracks in the Pro Series, but no one's really been able to do it besides a few stragglers here and there. Las Vegas is a perfect place for someone to try their luck and try to beat him. That Nella Strado is going to get a lot of action tonight. I'm excited to see what can happen.
The perfect track for those on the outside looking in to roll the dice and try to work themselves towards that cutoff marker or even earn a win at this racetrack. And I mean, this points gap from Scioli, I mean, look at that, plus 58 to the cutoff. He could literally sit out this race and then still have at least a 25-point cushion in the next week,
like he did last week.
Yeah.
Or last round.
Yeah, I was going to say he did a similar thing last round where he ended up having to miss the first race of the playoffs and was still fine. Not really had a really solid chance of being eliminated as long as he finished well. And similar looks for this round of the playoffs. But pretty much the rest of the field, every other driver has a very solid chance of being eliminated. Cameron Hernan, Beckner, Tarian are just a couple points above that cutoff. Guys like Furness, Matthew Bell, Weizert, and Ryan Hartz. It's a very strong bottom 4. All of them at the moment as it stands coming into tonight, all have a solid chance of being eliminated. Taking a quick look at the team standings, David Weiser Racing still dominating this season so far. Almost 100 points ahead of Sky Motorsports, still looking for their first win of the season. Slaughter Sim Racing in 3rd with IRLC in 4th. And Physicus Motorsports rounding out the top 5 in the team standings.
And it's really tight for that second place spot. Only 89 points separating DWR from Sky Motorsports, even with all their wins. But I think there's only 22 points separating 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So that's going to be exciting to watch the next few weeks as well as we get into practice for the final 2.5 minutes. You can look at the timing sheet to your left, I believe. Drivers in blue are above the cut line coming in tonight. The drivers in yellow are not. I don't believe Alex Weaver is actually in the playoffs still, but they are lit up in yellow regardless. As you can see, Furness topping the timing sheet right now with a pretty good time, 30.536, not a ways ahead of, but definitely planted ahead of Matthew Bell.
Neither is Greg Mitchell, 2nd quickest, and then right behind him, Matthew Bell. Got a couple of teammates there. Matthew Bell, Ryan Hartz, part of IRLC Motorsports, and then in the 5th spot, you got the man to beat, James Scioli. I mean, what can't this man do? I mean, Scioli, winner of last week at O Club, has 8 wins on the season. We're in our 15th race right now. There's a very solid chance that he could still get 10 wins on the season before we get to Homestead.
Yeah, I just want to point out, too, that David Weishart, I think it should be switched with Alex Weaver and David Weishart. Weishart is in the playoffs, but not highlighted in yellow. We'll keep track of him throughout the night. He's 7th on the board at the moment. But in general, it's actually pretty interesting because most of the all of the bottom 4 are doing pretty well. Skyler the only one in the mix. Otherwise, all the other playoff drivers are sitting in behind the guys that are currently on the outside looking in. So this will be really interesting to see if they can keep this performance up. Obviously, practice is one thing, qualifying is a different thing, and the race entirely is a whole nother ball game. So we'll have to see if these guys can really turn it up here. And I think for John Furness, I would say I feel pretty confident that he can have a pretty decent night. We've seen him be quick week in, week out, but there's just some weeks where he just can't quite make it click. And with only 2 races in this round, if you make one mistake, you're already putting yourself in a deeper hole.
Yeah, he already put himself in a big hole and in a bad spot last week at Auto Club where he had an odd strategy, ended up staying out very long, and almost got eliminated right then and there because of the odd strategy. Had to make some passes at the end of that race to get through, so cannot have any strategy like that happen. You have to be perfect with what you do. Travis Beckner's another one to be looking at. Very fast. We know his speed. We know his aggression. Got the best of him. His aggression did Tuesday night, I think, with James Scioli after they had a dust up in the truck series last week at Phoenix. So you got to be careful watching those two. And what about Cameron Hearn? He's another driver who was aggressive last night on the truck side, and he's going to be very fast tonight as well. I think the F67 is going to be one to watch.
Indeed, as practice wraps up, I'm going to get to qualifying here. 10 minutes for drivers to get their lap times in. Monday night, we saw guys wait till the very end to get laps in, but I don't think that'll be the case tonight, Finian.
Yeah, and we'll definitely take a look. And race fans, you should also look out for subscribing to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area iRacing broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also be able to earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise at the Area iRacing Twitch channel. So guys, qualifying here has started. A couple drivers rolling out on the racetrack. We'll see if, Hunter, like you mentioned, if there's going to be a slow trickle of guys out onto the track. One of the first drivers out, Michael Mohammed. I see Garrett Grant out there as well, and David Weiser, too, definitely one we want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some drivers wait, but that track temp is not going to come down anytime soon with it being pretty much dead noon sim time, as Travis Beckner also on track, not with his playoff banner, but he is a playoff driver, as he'll be one of the first to put a time down of the playoff drivers. In fact, he will be the first as he storms into turn 1 at 187 miles an hour. He will go across those bumps in 1 and 2 that we saw trouble so many drivers the last few nights here, but he gets over them pretty good as he goes all the way to the outside wall.
Give it a little smooch, but you don't want to do it in qualifying, otherwise that'll discount the lap time as he rolls through 3 and 4. And want to be careful here coming out of 4. Some guys on Monday got their lap time invalidated for getting too close to the grass there. Beckner comes across 30.732. It looks like that will stand for pole at the moment.
Nice little drift to finish off the attempt. He's happy with that, I would assume. We'll see if anyone can answer it. And already immediately, Justin Munsell jumps to provisional pole position.
Oh, well, not so fast for Beckner, as he's already back down to 4th, with great laps from Munsell, Greg Mitchell, and David Weishart went faster by a few thousandths of a second. So top 5, Munsell, Mitchell, Weishart, Beckner, Mason Kane 5th, as I'm trying to see not too many other drivers on track right now. Jordan Martin, Shane Abbey, Michael Muhammad all on laps. Cameron Hearn, as far as playoff drivers, Hearn and trying to see who that was. I think Matthew Bell are starting laps.
Here's Ryan Hartz. He enters tonight 8th in the point standings, 14 points outside the cutoff. He has speed that's capable of winning. Almost saw that last week at Auto Club. We'll see if he has a fast lap here to put himself towards the front row. 30.724, 4th quickest.
And not a bad lap. We'll see again, really, compared to how everyone else performed. He did do better than Beckner, but the biggest driver in the whole is Ryan Hart, so he definitely needs to perform. Alex Weaver, a solid lap for him. 2nd place for the number 62 Subway Machine as more drivers come across the line. Matthew Bell is starting a lap. Tom Bourne is on a lap already, and actually Cameron Hearn has just come across the line and will be seated in 2nd place in the 67.
Joining that row with Justin Munsell right now. Talked about on Tuesday night that bonus point for the pole could make a difference when the cut line might be so close. But on Tuesday night, that didn't matter because no playoff driver got a bonus point as Tom Bourne slots in 12th with a 30.819. So every point's going to matter, especially when you come to a short track like Richmond next week. If you're on the cut line, those points are going to matter as Bell comes through turns 3 and 4. This is to end his lap. Good run through 3 and 4. Where will he end up? He's been good in qualifying this year, and this race is no different. He goes top of the board.
Barely 3 1/1000ths over the 6 of Munsell. Boy, these qualifying times are pretty close because even then Hearn missed pole at that time by 6 1/1000ths of a second. Here's Shane Tyrion for the Sky Motorsports Group, going to try and slot himself in the middle of this chase chaos.
Yeah, and another driver that's actually also in the points. This is not reflected on the graphics on the ticker, but is in pursuit. But he can perform in his number 38 machine, running in the bottom in 3 and 4. Didn't particularly have the best of weeks at Auto Club, but it was enough to make it on through. As Tyrion jumps down onto the apron, across the line for the number 38 Kansas Toyota Supra, get near the top of the board. 30.8, not quite. It's going to be only 14th fastest for him.
Yeah, not lit up in yellow or blue on the timing sheet, but he does have that green playoff banner, so that's a way to look at it. Dom DeLeo making, I think, a rare Xfinity start. I haven't seen him in an Xfinity car in a while, but he'll get a lap in here as I don't see any playoff drivers on track, although Scioli did just start pulling out of the pits, but see what the 22 can do.
Yeah, haven't seen him too much, and Monday was his first race back in the area since Got to go all the way back to Darlington, then race 7 of the season. But he's back, trying to get as much lap time in as possible for any of the series and just race out the rest of the seasons. We're on our third to last race for the Pro Series, and he comes across the stripe, 30.8. It's going to be good enough for about, I'd say, 17th on the board.
Yeah, so it's the best for Dom DeLeo. We'll see if he can perform in the race, if he can do a little bit better. On Famro coming across the line, number 18. He will complete his lap. How good will it be? 30.7, midfield in 9th. And Justin Isogek just coming across the line. He was eliminated last week at Auto Club. 14th quickest for him. James Scioli, let's see where the Rick's Hot Sauce machine. He's been at the top of the leaderboards by the end of the race and near the top when it starts. We'll see, can he get another pole position this season for the number 7?
This looks like a pole run. That 3 and 4 was so smooth, and yeah, that's no surprise that was going to the top of the board. That was such a clean lap as he goes 200ths faster than Matthew Bell to get provisional pole with 4 minutes left.
Crazy fast lap time from the 7 again. Here's John Furness about to pull out from pit road. We'll see how fast he can do. He had a pretty good car in practice from what I could tell, so see if that transitions into the qualifying segment.
Still waiting on a couple stragglers in qualifying here. Looks like Jeffrey Wilson made an attempt and was unable to get a lap in, so he'll be starting from the back. Lakatos, Chris Rabel, Ed Robertson, Bryce Senizak, at Austin Gagjon, and Jacob Hudson have all yet to put a lap time down. John Furness, the only driver out on the racetrack at the moment.
So he'll come run that high line to get a run towards the tri-oval, cut it down to get a great run into turn 1 as well. Want to see 187, 188 into turn number 1. He does hit 187 and immediately goes to that bottom of the track. That bottom works short run, but long run I think it's going to be a little bit tougher to do that. But you can see even short run on a hot lap it's tough. He chases it all the way to the end of that safer barrier. So you can see those bumps really affecting the car, even down the back straightaway as he just gets to the white line. Maybe a little early, but still looking like a solid run.
Good angle here off 4. Is it good enough to dethrone Scioli for the pole? Oh, not quite. 30.748. That's going to be good enough for 14th for the number 28 machine.
Well, yeah, we'll be slammed pretty much midfield with that effort. Casey Lakatos now out there. Ooh, some new paint on that car.
It's that Transformer scheme he's ran a few times this year. There's I don't think his name's lit up, but he was eliminated last week, I believe.
Yes.
Had a decent season, but just not enough at Auto Club. Looked like he really struggled last week and just trying to come out strong with a good run. You could see him washing up out of turn 2, but didn't have to lift there.
Well, as long as he keeps it clean, he'll have a decent starting spot. Still have a handful of drivers who have yet to go out with almost 2 minutes remaining here in the session. It's going to come off turn 4, not too shabby. Going to get close to that front stretch grass. And it's going to be a pretty solid 30.7 across the board for Lakatos and 17th quickest.
17th for him. Bryce Senizek now rolling out onto the track, really waiting for the last minute. Pretty much from a lot of guys, if you're going to want to put a lap in, you got to get out in the next 20 seconds or so, otherwise you're going to run out of time.
You get 1 lap, so you probably go out in you go out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got 30 more seconds, but you're really playing with fire.
Yeah, you're definitely correct there. But we'll see what Senizek can do. He was sitting on pit road a while. He was contemplating whether he should go out or not. Finally decides to get a time down. He'd be the 25th driver to set a time here, but not the 25th to attempt a time. As long as he gets one down, as he'll go middle of the track, which we haven't seen a lot of drivers do. But talking about race trim, I think you're going to see that line used a lot, but a little bit too loose there.
It looked like on the pit lane, Senizek was doing the YMCA dance for his Twitch chat, live streaming on Twitch. Bryce J09. As he comes off turn 4, a little wiggle there, but see what the Senizek machine can do. Coming across the stripe, going to be a 31.237. That's going to be 24th on the board.
And with that, it's going to end our qualifying run so far. Everyone that wanted to put a time in has put a time in, and no surprise, number 7 up at the top step of the scoring pylon.
Yep, and really, Gak, Joan, Hudson, Rabel, Robertson, don't believe they even put times down or attempted to. So everyone going to have some work to do, some drivers at the back, but no surprise, Scioli at the front. Matthew Bell always qualifies well, Munsell, and a lot of playoff drivers in that top 10 is what I'm looking at.
Boy, Matthew Bell, I hope he doesn't have any bad luck this race. A 30.666, that's never good. It is good enough for second quickest, but would have liked to have been maybe 1,000th different, kind of like Justin Munsell's with a nice 30.669.
It's because you never want, as a race car driver, never want that bad luck, especially with a number like that. But hopefully for him, it'll be the best. I mean, especially starting near the front, that is a good starting spot. It's just a question: does he have the pace? Not only does he have the pace for to beat the rest of the field, but mainly James Scully, who's again. We can't stress enough, man to beat this season in almost every single race, and so far shaping up to be the man to beat in this race. But before we get down to gridding, I just want to tell you, race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. As you get the going to wait out this warm-up period here, but I guess we'll talk about it now, guys. What are your picks to win this event?
Well, I'm still going with the sense that it's too easy to pick Scioli, so to go away from him, Hearn was fast on Tuesday, Munsell was fast as well. I'm going to go with Munsell. I think things are going to work his way tonight. He's due for one of these races, so give me the six car.
I'm going to go ahead and say the 3 of Ryan Hartz gets the job done. 14 points below the cut line. Needs to switch something up. We've had a different winner here every time we've been to Las Vegas. So Hearn, Weishart, Scioli, they've won from season 1, 2, and 3. I think we get a different winner here in season 4, and it's a 3 of Hartz.
All right, I think with me, I'm liking the 43 of Matthew Bell. He's probably gonna hate me because not only does his lap time give him some bad juju, but now I've also given him commentator's curse. But I think he's got some solid speed. He's shown solid speed consistently in the last couple of weeks, so I think now is going to be the week where he can execute and get a win.
Hopefully for his case, 2 wrongs make a right.
It cancels out.
Yeah, it cancels out. I don't think it canceled out Monday night, but it might tonight.
We'll definitely see here as warm-up is coming to an end. We'll get down to gridding here at Las Vegas. Again, this is the first of the second round of the playoffs. 3 rounds remaining in the entire season. And we're going to really just start to set the motions here for drivers going into next week, what they're facing with. James Scully pretty much sitting good as far as elimination. Almost virtually he's locked in, but not officially locked in on the points. It'll take a lot to take him off that top step. But let's go through your starting lineup, gentlemen. Starting on pole, as we mentioned before, James Scully in the number 7. See if anyone can beat him tonight. Matthew Bell going to try his best from that front row, starting in second place.
And then we got row number 2 to the 6 machine. My pick, Justin Munsell, starting third. Alongside him will be Cameron Hearn, who's looking to stay above that cut line, starting fourth.
Moving on back to fifth, it's going to be Alex Weaver in the 62 machine. Not in the playoffs, he was eliminated last week. Greg Mitchell starting next to him in 6th place in the number 2.
Another good qualifying effort for Shane Abbey, starting in the 7th position at Carvana Camaro. 8th position, the 3 of Ryan Hartz, who has the most work to do tonight.
Moving on back to 9th place, David Weishart, a man in the playoffs, trying to make sure he can get himself inside. He's on the outside looking at the moment. Starting in 9th, next to him in 10th, Colin Fambro in the number 18 machine.
Travis Beckner also in the playoffs, has the color on the timing sheet, but not the playoff banner, but he'll start 11th regardless alongside Brett Slaughter Jr.
Moving on back to 13th, Mason Kane in the number 31, next to John Furness in 14th in the 28 car.
15th place, Jordan D. Martin alongside another driver who was just eliminated last week, Josana Sogak, the winner at Daytona.
Moving on back to 17th, it's going to be Casey Lacatus in the number 50 on the inside lane, next to Nick Silver in the 46, rolling off in 18th.
And rounding at the top 20, Shane Therian, I believe another playoff driver, starting way back in the field compared to his playoff competitors. He starts 19th alongside Garrett Grant in 20th.
Moving on back to 21st, it's going to be Tom Bourne in the number 16 car on the inside. Next to him, Dom DeLeo in the 22 car in 22nd.
That's kind of, I don't know if that's where 2 wrongs make it right, but we'll see for DeLeo. Michael Muhammad, good qualifying run for him, starting 23rd position alongside Bryce Senesac, who had that big slide in qualifying. He starts in 24th.
Yeah, he went for a wild slide, was able to hold on and get a lap, although I'm sure he would have liked a lap without sliding around. It would have been a little quicker. Steve Durham going to be rolling off in 25th in the number 1 car. Next to him, Chris Rabel in the 29, rolling off in 26th.
Like Muhammad outqualified Steve Durham. I'm sure the crowd's going wild. Austin Gack Jones starting 27th with that 8 Camaro, and then Ed Robertson 28th.
Moving on back to 29 is going to be Jeffrey Wilson in the 98. Rounding out your field of 30 contestants is going to be the number 96 of Jacob Hudson. So 30 cars will be rolling off here for the event tonight. 130 laps here on the board. You can see them all rolling off into turn 1. Yeah, we already had our picks right before we had gridding here, but everyone has their eyes set on the number 7 here. James Scioli, man, has dominated this season. You're going to hear it's like a stuck record because it is phenomenal. His stats: 9 wins this season, 4 poles. This is actually pole number 5 here counting tonight. Average start of 4.69, and guys, average finish 2.0.
Not to mention that in his Xfinity or his Pro Series career, his average finish is 6.09. That's just how dominant he's been, that his average is that high. No one else with that many starts is even close besides Alan Elwood, who's actually is better, but not in Pro Series this season. It's given Scioli a big chance to just dominate this season. We'll see if he dominates tonight.
He's going to make the turn on a pit lane, fielding control of the number 7, leading them on down. 130 laps on the clock. And here we go. We are green here at Las Vegas. Field rocketing out of turn 4. Scioli in front. Justin Munsell trying to make some noise here and usurp Matthew Bell and take that second place away from him. In behind them, it's going to be Alex Weaver and Cameron Hearn duking out for 4th place.
Wow, Bell really got on the door of Munsell there to pull him back and get second back for the time being. I thought they'd single file out quicker. That's just not happening as Hearn barely squeezes in front of the 62 of Weaver.
Go time as the green flag flew, and Bell's going to claim second, and right behind her, they're still going at it. Look at Mitchell trying to go to the outside of the 67. He's going to clear himself from Weaver, and now it's Hart's side by side with Shane Abbey in turn 1.
Yeah, Hart's looking around on the outside lane. It looks like drivers just looking just a little bit high off the corner to get a little bit of a run, but a lot of guys looking to bottom feed at the moment. Hart's trying to see if he can get that run and get ahead at 62. He's not quite clear. Finally, he's clear. Dives down to the inside lane.
And now we're seeing, after 3 completed laps, the single file happening, but it's already too late. James Scioli has already jumped out to an 8, maybe 9/10 of a second lead over Matthew Bell, just rocketing away. Maybe using the tires up early, but not used to seeing that happen as Shane Abbey went way up the track in the middle of 1 and 2.
Could the 7 be wearing his tires a bit too early? We saw that Monday night where drivers started move away from the pack, but they eventually got caught as the run went on. But I'm looking through, we've always had somewhat of an early caution here for the Pro Series. After that early yellow, it seems like we never have any more yellows. So still waiting for that early yellow to come out. Just have a gut feeling it could happen within the next 10 laps or so. But for the time being, still clean and green, and Scioli still 9/10 of a second lead over Matthew Bell as we still look a little further back. Shane Abbey, Justin Anasogak side by side for position.
Yeah, a lot of drivers in this fight for position here. Colin Fanro versus Anasogak. They're at the battle for 12th place, just ahead of these drivers. Anasogak currently a driver on the move forward, up 4 spots at the moment. He's still trying to get clear of Colin Fanro. They might almost make contact off into turn 1. And Anasogak way up high, trying to see if he can get a run on John Furness. And Furness has made a couple spots up. He's moved up 3 spots since the start of the race.
Yeah, pretty much single file throughout the entire top 12. Then the first battle is Fambro and Lakatos here for this 13th position. Also got Brett Slaughter on the inside of Jordan Martin. Also got in the back a few drivers battling, Ed Robertson, Tom Bohr, and that's for, I believe, 24th or 25th. And look behind them, Shane Therian has dropped way back as Munsell also dropping back as Greg Mitchell gets under him for the 5th position here.
See Mitchell not quite clear of position there, Hunter, as he's still trying to fight side by side, but Hearn able to get the spot, and Mitchell looks like he's finally able to clear as Munsell starts to drop back.
Settled in that 5th position right there. Good gap between himself and the next car. Ryan Hart's on the 3. Has his eyes set. Again, 14 points below the cutoff. Entered as the 8th driver of 8 in the playoffs. Going to need to either have a really good night or make some adjustments to the strategy, because that 7 car checked out. Even though with a 58-point gap to the cutoff line, Skyle's still looking for wins, and Hart's going to be looking for 5th here as Colin Fambro and Casey Lacoste side by side in turn 3.
Yeah, continuously side by side. They can't get away from each other at the moment. Lacoste really wants that spot, keeping it nice and tidy on the bottom. Again, I'm really curious to see, because we're definitely seeing some drivers push a little bit harder on their tires, and it's benefiting them now. But if we do get a long green flag run, they could be paying the price here. Lacoste still tries to work over that 18 and to continue their side-by-side action. But meanwhile, at the front, quite a bit of separation amongst the top few drivers. James Scully up over almost a second ahead of the 43 Matthew Bell. Then it's Cameron Hearn, Greg Mitchell, Justin Munsell, your top 5. Ryan Hartz, Alex Weaver, David Weiser, and Travis Beckner, with Mason Kane rounding out your top 10.
Good run for Kane so far, and that 43 is starting to reel in. Scioli back just slightly. It's back under a second last time by at the line as he starts to pull away. Matthew Bell actually not pulling away from Cameron Hearn, and it ran nearly at the end of the laps last time as those 3 pretty separated. Also, these 4 separated. Mitchell's gotten away from Munsell. Hartz is all over him, and Beckner trying to get by Alex Weaver.
Weaver looking to get back around the 33 of Weishart on the outside. Not going to be enough as we ride in sim with 33 of Weishart. And up in front of them, they were side by side, but Hart's tucks back in line behind the 6 of Munsell as they head into turn 1.
And speaking of Munsell, looks like he's about to be under attack again. Ryan Hart's lining up in behind. David Weishart also waiting in the mix. So I'm curious if this is Munsell trying to be a little bit more conservative on his tires later on the run, or if he's just really struggling for pace at the moment. We'll have to see. And Weishart now trying to eye up a move on the number 3 ahead of him.
Well, when I look at Munsell's right front fender, I do see a slight bit of damage to that fender, and with these Xfinity cars, we stress it all the time. No new damage model yet, so you can just barely see it there. It's a tiny bit of damage, but it's going to make a big difference in your tire wear and the tire heat, and you're just not going to be handling as well as he still continues to be in 5th over Ryan Hartz. As I was looking in the background, Justin Ahsoka caught my eye running the way high line back there, trying to get that working.
John Furness has just cracked the top 10, passing the 31 of Mason Kane going into turn 3. And the Black Buffalo number 31 is going to look to try and get a run to the inside, but Fambro's got a strong run. Going to give him a little shove here down this front stretch. Furness up a few positions since the start of this race here on lap 13, and yeah, Fambro looked, but he tucks back in line. 3 wide back here with Anna Sogok ripping the top.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, fairly close there as they're all coming off the corner. You can see there that is Jordan Martin in the 17. Lining up in behind him. The 88 still side by side with the 9 of Brad Slaughter, who's not had the best just start. Started in 12th. He is back a couple spots to 15th now. Trying to make it not 16th here as Anasogak's trying to work around him.
88 trying to get a good run to get some good runs to finish out this Pro Series season after being eliminated. Not doing too badly so far, trying to get the top line worked in, but has not gone anywhere using it. Started and currently running in 16th position, as not missing anything. Battle for the lead, still a second pretty much, separating 1st and 2nd. And we're still single file all the way to this battle with Anna Sogak and Jordan Martin.
And a little further back here, this is the battle for 16th on the track. Anna Sogak on the outside, Martin on the inside with Nick Silver, and I believe that is Bryce Senesac in the 09 trying to close in on this battle as well. Anna Sogak kind of stayed the same. Senesac up 5 spots since the start. Good speed out of the 09. Looking to add a few more as Silver and Anna Sogak go side by side in front of him.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised that Senesac had some more speed. Obviously, he was sideways out of 2 and a little bit out of 4 as well in his qualifying lap. So there definitely was some speed in the 09. Is up ahead. I can see some side-by-side action. Justin Munsell trying to not fall, actually trying to move up another spot. He's caught back up to Greg Mitchell, and here he goes on the attack. Will get past the 2 and just slide in front of his nose.
He got through his right rear down the back last time by and was able to finally complete the pass. That's how long in these Xfinity cars, it takes about a lap or 2 to really complete a pass. Even after you set it up for multiple laps, it's going to take a while to fully complete that pass. 6 maybe that damage isn't hurting him too badly. He's moved up a position like we just saw there, and maybe he'll try to get the Cameron Hearn, as those top three have really separated themselves.
Ooh, they were looking 3 wide back there with Slaughter as Furness was trying to find a way around Alex Weaver. And now they got some more side-by-side action just in front of them. Down the order we go. Slaughter, Abby. Abby's been on the decline since the start, and Casey Licata is right behind that number 84. Yeah, he's lost 7 spots since the green flag flew. Trying to go underneath the 9 of Slaughter. Not going to be a good enough run. Close to clipping the apron there, but Abby trying to stop the bleeding here early on.
Who is bleeding before. Sorry to cut you off, and one person who is bleeding is Greg Mitchell. He's starting to drop like a rock here, big time.
And taking a look at him, he's starting to fall more and more spots back. Got passed by Justin Munsell, now Ryan Hart. Now it's David Weishart making the attack. He's gotten past him for 6. Might have been one of those drivers that's pushed a little bit too hard on this opening stint, and is dropping back. John Furness is to lane up, trying to see if he can get some cleaner air, get their car to rotate and get a better run off the corner. He's trying to look at Travis Beckner now. But all these drivers in a line, pretty much all held up in behind Cameron Hearn, leading a little bit of a small train, then about a second gap, 0.8 of a second to Matthew Bell, and then another 8.9 of a second to James Scully up ahead.
I still like what Scully's doing. This is what got him the lead last night, running that bottom line on the long run. It's what's going to win you races if you can do it through 1 and 2 over those bumps, as still some playoff drivers battling here with Furness and Beckner. They trade places. Beckner tries to get back to the bottom. Furness shuts it off. But I was going to talk about a playoff driver. You see about majority of the playoff field in the top 10. Look who's in 28th place, or who was in 28th place. He's now up to 26th and finally coming through. Shane Therian is 4th to last right now, and I don't know if this is a strategy on tires or what, but this is not what he needs.
Has to be a strategy on tires. We do get long green flag runs here in Las Vegas. Don't typically get them early on, but that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, he's dropped like a rock since the initial start. He's got the Leo on the outside looking for 20th. Very interesting call early on from the 38 Ethereum, but we are in Vegas, and some drivers tend to roll the dice, so we'll see how this plays out.
If you're going to have to roll the dice.
Oh, but sorry, Matthew Bell lost the lead last lap, and we completely missed it, and he's dropped back big time. I'm not sure.
Matthew Bell?
Yeah, I'm losing it, sorry. I don't know why I thought he was leading, I'm sorry.
I was confused. You're confused.
Vegas has hurt my head this week.
I'm sure he wished he was leading, but unfortunately he's not. He is, though.
Well, he is reeling him in.
I was going to say, that is a big talking point. He is starting to reel him in. The gap was, I think, at a second, if not close to second. It's now gone down to just about 0.7 of a second. So 43 is starting to reel the 7 back in, which might lend to our theory that we thought Skyley might be pushing a little bit too hard early on. As Justin Munsell, I just saw him trying to make a look to the inside of Cameron Hearn.
I can't believe I did that, but yeah, these top 2 have gotten ways away. The top 3 were the ones who were gone, but yeah, we're starting to see the 67 really bleed some time here, although he was not much slower than the top 2 last time by, but the guys behind him were just a little bit faster the last few laps, and now this line behind her and kind of stretches all the way back to Alex Weaver. Then there's a gap to him, to Mason Kane, but very single file, very spread out, and not too many multi-grooves here so far. The 2 still on the top line leading spots. John Furness puts him back to 8th position. I just starting to see Justin Munsell, the damage not affecting him. He's just trying to get Cameron Hearn here.
Peeking his nose to the inside the last handful of laps or so. Now Hartz is going to have a jab at the 6th, looking for that 4th spot. Not going to be enough here coming off 2. That run's going to keep the 6 in front for the time being. Weishart still setting up possibly a pass in the next handful of laps or so to get around Hartz.
Wow, Tom Bornich had a big wiggle out of turn 2. I'm not seeing things that time.
Running 22nd here around Ed Robertson. Take a look at the Simrat Market replay.
See who's dealing with on the bottom.
Whoa, yeah, that's quite a bit. And I haven't seen him as Michael Muhammad clip the wall in the background behind him. I haven't seen a whole lot of handling issues. I was expecting a little bit more. Some guys were looking a bit loose in qualifying but I would assume that would be to just pushing the car really hard. But a big wiggle there from the 16. No one else really looking that bad as far as handling is concerned. Ryan Hart's working around the outside of the number 6 of Justin Munsell, trying to get 4th place away. Munsell trying to hang on that bottom lane.
It's a story we've seen all week where that bottom line will work short run, but once you get to the long run, the tires wear out. That middle groove in 1 and 2, if you're not there, if you get stuck on the bottom, you will get freight trained. Hartz is going to complete this pass as the 6 gets just barely squeezed to the outside for David Weishart. That's where you want to be to make passes. It's so hard to pass on the bottom when the driver on your outside can just pinch you to that white line like the 33 is doing right now. So we're going to see this all race long.
Looking to crack that top 5. He's got it for the time being, but Muntzel's still going to give him an effort down in turn 1, trying to reclaim the 5th position solely. So they're dead even going through the turn. That's going to allow the 28 of 28 of Furness to close in on the 6 of Muntzel if this continues, but Bell is and now Furness is on the bumper of Muntzel for that 6th spot.
Yeah, Furness now running in that middle lane, trying to get a little bit of cleaner air. We see him kind of step out of line, willing to step out of line to make some moves. Greg Mitchell sitting in behind after he had an early jump out of the gun, got as high as 4th. He's now dropped back to 8th. Still running well inside the top 10 in behind this bigger group as Furness now looks to the inside. Muntzel just trying to stop the bleeding as it looks like he's starting to be on the way out of the top 10 if this continues.
Seen this from the 28 before where he conserves short run and gets that great long run speed. Didn't see it last week, but we're seeing it once again as he tries to get to the right rear of that Raycon strip, but just not quite able to do it as he'll get a run down the front straight away and see maybe he'll try to look to the 3rd groove or just run behind the 6. Not many options when you got the guy running the middle of 1 and 2. You don't really want to go low of him, but Furness will do just that.
We'll get through at lap times as we're nearing lap 30 on this run. Scioli fastest lap of the race, 30.779. His last lap, 32.6. We're already seeing almost 2 seconds of fall off with these tires as we're nearing lap 30.
Yeah, that's the big question, guys, is when are we going to start seeing pit stops? Because I doubt that these guys are going to be able to last until halfway, which would be, what, lap 75? I'm doing my math correctly? 65, darn it. So lap 65, I don't think they're going to be able to make it that far. So if you cut the entire race into 3 equal parts, what would that be? Around 40-ish,
like
45?
43, yeah. 43 to 44, yeah. So probably 40 to 45 is the range we'll see drivers come in. Maybe we'll see overcuts, but track position seems to be somewhat difficult to obtain, so we'll just see. But I got to point out this battle for 20th. This is the greatest battle for 20th ever. Chris Rabel and Jeff Santasoga have been side by side for like 10 laps now, and they're probably not happy with one another either. But Shane Therian, he's up to 22nd, so that is working for now. But this is a volatile battle right now as that battle for 3rd subsided. Hearn stays ahead of Hartz.
Got a good old conga line for him between 3rd place Cameron Hearn and 8th place Greg Mitchell. Everyone in single file nicely tucked in on board with the 3 of Hartz as he continues to climb towards that podium spot. He's in the top 5, looking to want to get into 3rd. Be a good spot for that 3 car to be in, but can't quite get around Hearn just yet.
These guys are really flirting with the exit wall off the 2, getting very close, using up as much track as possible to get around, especially get around Cameron Hearn, because Muntzel made an attempt and try, and he's dropped back. We saw Reinhardt, he tried a little bit earlier, is now trying to shave up to make another run. David Weishart is waiting in the wings. And just really looking through the rest of the order, Senizak has been making some solid moves forward. Biggest mover of the race so far, started in 24th up to 16th. And it looks like he'll continue moving forward.
Good movement from the 09 and Senizak. Up 8 spots since the start. Looking to get another spot there from the 17 of Jordan Martin, but just in front of them, Furness completing the pass on Greg Mitchell. Going to move himself up to 7th for the time being, and now has his eyes set on the 6 of Muntzel. Alex Weaver in 9th, not too bad of a night for him, and Travis Spector ripping that top line, running in the 10th spot.
And up ahead of them, Ryan Hart's making a move on Cameron Hearn yet again. Will work to the inside. Trying to see if he can make his way on by. And not quite. That run off the corner, especially later in this run, starting to look even more and more powerful, and that's really played out to the 67's advantage of Cameron Hearn. Getting that run off the corner, he's able to keep a lot of these drivers in behind, but that speed, he's starting to lose out just a little bit, but comes back again on the exit. You can see how much he comes back, and here comes David Weiser trying to take advantage.
Couldn't hear what Hart said over the radio, but probably not happy that he can't get by her, and that's for sure. This is exactly what the 7 and the 43 want. They've opened up over a second gap to the 67. That gap's going to increase as these guys battle, but now the battle's for 4th. It's exactly what Hartz didn't want. If you don't make that pass on the bottom, you will get passed by someone else, and that's David Weishart now trying to get that 4th position away, and even Munsel's going to try to line up for a shot at him as Hartz is going to try to shut the door on Weishart, and he forced Weishart into lifting there. Here comes Munsel with a big run.
Yeah, Weishart had to lift out of that, otherwise they would have been up in the wall. Munsel going to capitalize on that. Saw himself in the middle of this 3 and 33 battle, up in the 5th spot. Ooh, or it looks like Weishart with a little low exit was going to try to get underneath the 6 of Munsel. Not going to do that. Furness, though, going to close in on the 33 of Weishart. Going to send it down in. Not going to be enough to get underneath of Weishart, but add a little bit of urgency to the 33 of Weishart off 2.
Sorry to cut you off again, Fian. I don't know what happened, but Shane Abbey has front-end damage. Colin Fambro nearly got the rear bumper knocked off his Pepsi Camaro, so something went down between those two.
Shane Abbey, you said?
Yes. It's definitely 84's dropped big time. 17th, back from 7th.
And where'd you say who was the other driver with damage?
Colin Fambro, you see you damage front bumper, see you damage a rear bumper, and you connect the dots.
Whoa,
Yeah,
holy!
that doesn't look good at all.
Wow, looks like someone took a sledgehammer and just went to town on the back of that. I was expecting, like, a little crease or something, but that's a lot of damage.
No, barely a rear bumper left as he barely clears up in front of Mason Kane. As he's still running decent for the damage he has. This was the battle for 11th, actually, so he hasn't. He's actually gone, I believe. No, he has gone 2 backwards, 1 backwards since he started, but still a decent run. But was looking at the battle for 4th. Munsel got to the inside of Hartz, but couldn't get the job done, and he's dropped back. And this is Cameron Hearn's conga line, and he's leading it right now, but no challenge now after Hartz had to lift earlier, and he's trying to get back to him now.
Behind those guys, Weaver's closed in on Greg Mitchell, and that battle for 8th starting to heat up as the 62, although eliminated from the playoffs last week, still very fast, number 62, as he rolls into turn 1, closer to the bumper of Mitchell as you start to see some drivers working on that high line. Justin Munsel, John Furness, 5th and 6th, working their way down the back.
Got the call from Weishart. He's pitting here.
Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, I guess this is right on the window. We're talking about the window being around lap 40 to 45. Weishart are taking this chance to come in immediately, and someone up ahead, Matthew Bell, coming in.
And Beckner, watch his entry. He lit it. Brett Slaughter was deep in 2. Jeffrey Wilson pits from 27th, and this should definitely open the door for the leaders, especially Scioli, who might have to respond.
It's going to be tough getting on the pit road. Saw a couple of those guys getting sideways, merging from the 20 degrees of banking in the middle of 3 and 4 all the way down to the flat pit road. As not Beckner. No, it was Beckner.
I think it was Beckner that went through, or Weiser that went through stall a little bit.
Oh,
in
wow,
behind them in the background, a giant amount of cars.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Most of the leaders coming in behind. And pit lane is extremely busy.
Got to be careful of collisions here when everyone pits. Hearn brought everyone behind him down, as did obviously Scioli, as no collisions from what I saw there as everyone gets into their pits. Looked like the 62 passed Greg Mitchell there, which was surprising there, as it almost looked like it's a super speedway of everyone pitting here, but a few drivers stayed out. Munsel just came down and maybe got a lap led. Roy Senesac will assume the lead. Shane Abbey pits. A few others do stay out, though, as that entire pack will come all together.
Senesac leads that lap, but it's going to be important where the 7 of Scioli comes out in reference to the 43 of Matthew Bell. I think he's already on the backstretch. Yep, there he is. Here comes the 43 of Bell. It looks like the gap's going to stay the same, if not maybe increase just a bit for the 7.
Oh, no,
look at Bell!
Man. Oh, man, he tried to split the difference there with Silver and Theory, and that almost caused a huge crash. Here comes Weishart's going to blow by him. That should be for second as we look at that, how close that was.
So remember, Mark, a replay of how that played out. And up ahead, he's 3 wide again with Weishart on the inside. And you can imagine the frustration from Matthew Bell. Not only lost 1 spot, but 2 spots as David Weishart gets past him. But that's the issue there. You're dealing with slower traffic. Guys still out on older tires. And you can't just move them out of the way. You got to get by them.
Ooh, Beckner and Munsell almost hit there. Munsell tried to clear. This is wild. Oh my goodness. Munsell almost hit Ed Robertson, who was pitting. That was incredibly close, but they got away with it. Therian pits, brought down Silver and Robertson, as I said. But that was wild. We got so many conflicting strategies, as you saw how close that was.
And that is flirting with disaster right there. And the Therian machine, he was actually battling for the lead there in that 3-wide moment between him, Nick Silver, and Matthew Bell. So trying to get a bonus point for Lena Lappa, which I believe he did. Close battle here. Beckner, Weaver, and the 6 of Munsell down low, fighting for position across the front stretch.
Close stuff, dangerous stuff here as the huge speed difference for a lot of guys, and a lot of guys getting back on fresh tires now. So really have to change how you drive these things, as you can see the 6 muscling his way on by up ahead of them. David Weiser, Matthew Bell. This battle not done yet. The gap between themselves and James Scully, 2 seconds now. So Scully able to gain a second down on pit lane.
It's how valuable that lead was for the 7 of Scioli. He came out in clean air, and the 43 had to deal with lap traffic that essentially cost him cycling back out to the 2nd position. Weishart took that after the loss of momentum, so that's a big spot to lose for the 43, but still great battling. As look at Slaughter trying to fend off the 28 of Furnace, just won't be able to do it.
Good battle forming here. Slaughter got the 6 of Munsell to the outside now. And he looks like he'll have a strong run coming off turn 4. Right behind them, though, Beckner and Weaver still side by side with Greg Mitchell right behind them, but looks like it's going to be a 2-second lead for that 7 of Scioli once things cycle through.
Travis Beckner is not looking too hot on the pace at the moment. He's been passed by quite a few guys, which is a bit surprising because they all pit around the same time. So I'm kind of surprised, guys, why there's such a difference in pace.
Yeah, and honestly, he's not showing the speed I thought he would today. I think before stops he was only running, I say only, but compared to what I would expect from him, he was only running around 10th position. As a matter of fact, he did pit from 10th, so a little surprising to see him not as on the pace as he usually would be, something that you can't afford to do at this point in the season. You have to put in top 5s, compete for wins to win a championship, and he's not too close to that, but I guess no one's too close to competing for the win with the 7 rocketing away from the field.
Now, this would be the battle for second once Muhammad DeLeo and Anasoga come down pit, which, by the way, they're nearing 50 laps on fuel, so this is interesting to note for later in the run as Weishart continues to hold off the 43 of Bell.
Yeah, a lot of the initial flights starting to die down just a little bit here as the field gets a little bit more spread out. Alex Weaver getting a run on Brian Slaughter, where it is inside. Travis Beckner behind, just Greg Mitchell in behind them. From the looks of it, I don't think we had any massive penalties on pit lane. There are still 3 drivers out on the racetrack. Michael Muhammad, Dom DeLeo, and Justin Anasogak all have yet to pit.
Yeah, don't think we had any playoff penalties, so everyone's all good there. All
just about a pit? No, he looked really slow there.
He did look slow there. It's still got all 28 drivers who started running this race. Austin Gack, Joan, Jacob Hudson did not start. So we got 28 drivers, 3 of them a lap down. Make that 2 of them. Tom Bourne just unlapped himself.
On board with Travis Beckner right behind Brad Slaughter, the #1 drafty car player in the world. Holds that title with honor as he's holding off the 12th position for the time being from Beckner with honor.
He streams that record on Kick.
Oh, here comes Greg Mitchell now going to look low on Beckner heading into turn 3, Finian.
Yeah, decent run for the 2, trying to work on the inside of the 27. Beckner going to pinch Mitchell down in 3 and 4. You got to be very careful with that. That car on the inside washes up. You're going to get yourself turned. But Beckner playing with fire, it paid off in that attempt because now he has a chance of getting back at the 9, trying to see if he can rocket around him.
I'm shocked he was doing that. If you watch Tuesday night's truck broadcast, you know who that bit? It bit Beckner after he pinched Scioli, and they both went into the wall. So Not shying away from a challenge, Beckner just did the same thing, but he got away with it this time as Mason Keynes retired from the race. Not sure why. He was running 17th. Looks like he just decided to call it a day, as now we have our first retirement. I think I just jinxed that, so sorry.
Well, on board with Munsell here on the bumper. John Furness going into the turn. Going to run his line, but that is not good if you're running the same line.
Oh, I don't like it. He's blinked out for a while.
There he is.
That was a scare and a half.
He's right on the bumper, almost hitting him.
Ooh. I always like to give a little bit of space to cars that just net-coated, or not net-coated, that just went back. That blinked, flashed out, and then flashed back in because the net-coat can be pretty severe. So he's right back with it, though, and now trying to hold off the 6. Charging who's inside, Furness up on the top. That's always a big scare.
He'll go to the bottom of the track.
Oh.
Just clear him a little bit here, maybe, as Michael Muhammad has he ran out of fuel.
Getting word that 78's blown a right front tire.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Oh, I mean, he
right there.
Wow, I haven't seen that. That didn't. That was in the game.
Hey, you can see the car start to slide and then bam into the wall.
Ran those tires to the brink of no air left, and well, fortunately he made his pit stop now, but DeLeo is yet to pit, and he might actually get passed here in the next lap or two by Scioli.
Yeah, he had the worst bit of damage as well. You see the right front's really pinned in, so he was running 28th before everything cycled out.
Quite a bit of damage to the 22. I was gonna say I was curious to see if anyone would try to hypermile it to halfway and play in theme with Las Vegas, kind of play a bet. I doubt you would have seen any of the playoff drivers do that. It's just a little bit too risky of a gamble. A lot of them playing it safe. They're gonna go with the 2-stop. But really, the big question is really a matter of when and where you pit, because we saw that it really bit Matthew Bell with the way things turned out. Got caught in some lap traffic and lost a spot and some time on the leader, James Scioli.
Yeah, as now Scioli's about to take the actual lead of the race, as Weishart's been able to clear the 43 pretty easily. No challenge for second now, but you see Ryan Hart's closing in on the 43 for what is fourth right now. As it will turn to third as DeLeo finally pulls off the pit, as you can see him to the left of your screen. So Scioli officially retakes that lead, and now this is the battle for second, 3-car battle for that spot.
To mention, one of those spots is for the 3rd place position, which is podium, which also is a chance to talk to us after the race. So Hart's looking to take that position away from teammate Matthew Bell. But down the backstretch, the outside run for the 43, just too strong for Hart's to contend at the moment.
Yeah, too strong for him to fight with at the moment. Meanwhile, looking further in behind, Greg Mitchell still trying to climb up the order, fighting with Brian Slaughter and Travis Beckner. Saw him try to work hard forward. Beckner pinching that number 2, and they've both remained as a trio, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And since we've gone close to halfway here without a caution, just want to thank our replay sponsor. We've seen a couple of them tonight. Race fans, be sure to visit simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paints and templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. That's simratmarket.com. Simrat Market replays here. We've seen a bunch of them, but no caution tonight. So far, we are 59 laps in and 0 signs of a yellow flag.
And 0 signs of a challenge for the 7. I mean, he hasn't led every lap because of pit cycles, but he's pretty close to doing it, and he's almost already going to wrap up most laps led, and maybe 10, 15 laps or so, led 43 of 60, so yeah, not too far away from doing that. Just another bonus point for Scioli. We know he definitely needs those bonus points to make the next round.
Looking through here, Fern 5th, Munsell, yeah, he's still going in 6th. Beckner holding his own in 9th. Slaughter rounds out the top 10. So a good bit of spread out separation between the pack, but yeah, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, bumper to bumper.
Oh, and no longer bumper to bumper. Here comes Ryan Hart's trying to look up the inside of Matthew Bell. As Bell cuts him off just a little bit there, trying to hold on to that spot. Got to hold on to that spot because you definitely want to talk to us after the race. Reinhardt's trying to see if he can change that. But so far, all things considered, a good run for Reinhardt. Again, we mentioned him, he's in the worst place as far as the points. As Matthew Bell comes sliding out of turn 4 just a little bit. So this is a decent run for the 3, but unfortunately, the rest of the championship competitors are doing pretty well this race.
Yeah, as our live points show, shout out to Eric Weiland for that. He has only gained 1 point to the cut line, so definitely unfortunate when the people you're competing with are just doing so well.
And tonight, Hart's entered 14 back from the cutoff line, as you can see there on the graphic that we got up, but he's closed that to 9 points now, and it's actually a 3-way tie for that cutoff spot. Furness would be in, Bell and Weishart would be tied, but be on the outside looking in.
Just kind of looking at the rest of our competitors, all of them doing pretty well. The worst off really at the moment is Shane Terrian. Where is he at? He's actually moved up quite a few spots. He's up to 17th at the moment, but is sitting furthest back of the playoff field.
Yeah, still not what he needs whatsoever. But I believe, if that's correct, he's only back 9 currently, so still not too bad, and he has a lot of opportunity to maybe gain some more. He's got Chris Rabel right ahead, and then Senesac Jordan Martin battling for 14th. So considering where he dropped back to, it's been a great climb, and still got room to climb as well, as that battle for 3rd is heating up more. Here comes Hart's another move to the bottom, while that battle for 14th keeps going.
Ooh, Hart's completes the pass on Bell for that 3rd spot. Looking to drive away from it, but Bell's going to give him a push down the front stretch. Maybe a look to the inside. Not quite yet. He'll just settle in. Now looking to the outside, trying to get a strong run as they head off turn 2.
Yeah, Bell trying to see if he can get back at him. Whoa, as Weitzer gets very close to the wall for turn 2. Hartz is a little bit of a check to the left-hand side. Maybe a little bit of a bump there from the 43 heading off into turn 3. Wasn't able to get it done, so the 43 and Matthew Bell will be relegated back to 4th place at the moment. So he's been a slow slide on back for him. Cameron Ahern is in 5th, trying to catch up to this group. Same thing with Justin Munsell, also trying to catch up to this group of drivers.
Munsell trying to get up there, as he's done a good job persevering through what I thought would be pretty bad damage with these Xfinity cars, but he's done a great job, and he stayed with Cameron Ahern for the time being. He's been behind him for quite a while, but still looking for that way around the 67. He's been hard to pass tonight. I think the only reason Ahern was passed for that 3rd position is green flag pit cycle that he lost 2 positions out of, and Munsell's going to be the next to try to take a spot from him, as the 6 still runs in 6th.
You see the focus that he's got, still looking to chase down Cameron Ahern. Could have a nice run here through turn 2. About stays the same down the backstretch, but definitely buying time and closing the gap between himself and Ahern. And the 3.
Working their way. You can see all 5 of these drivers all very close together, and then that car way off into the distance entering towards turn number 1 right now. That's James Scully, the man they're all trying to chase down. Scully looking to see if he can get his 10th win of the season, and that is just phenomenal statistically, because we only had, this is race 15 of the season, and he would have won 10. That's 2 out of 3 races that he would have won this season.
Pretty incredible. There's no other way to put it, and he's very on pace to get another one, as there's no shortage of not trying to drive the heck out of it. It's not easy. He slid out of turn 4 that last time by, so it's not easy for him either. He's just got that much more to work with right now, as he's consistently either still on par with Weishart's times or just playing faster, as that battle for 2nd does start to heat up. Reinhardt's is reeling in David Weishart.
Yeah, closing in the gap quite a bit is the 3 of Hart's on the 33 Weishart's. You'll see them rolling through turn 3 and 4. There it is, still nose and tail. Really, 2nd through 6 are about within a second of each other. So here comes the 3 of Hart's, going to look low, side by side for the 2nd spot, heading into turn 1.
Finally gets the run that he needs. Is going to throw it to the inside, and not a whole lot of contest from the 33. As I say that, he gasses up hard in the middle of the corner on the outside, and he's going to fight back.
I thought he'd get further alongside, but he did get a good run off of 2 there, so he might be able to fight this off, and this is going to bring Matthew Bell right back in it. That top line's so hard to fend against when trying to make that pass. Hart's got bit by this earlier, but Weishart didn't gain much here. We'll see how hard. I'm interested to see how hard is this 3 car going to fire it into turn number 1.
On board with Bell as he watches on. Doesn't know which line to go in. Definitely doesn't want to make it 3 wide. As the outside run going to help the 33 on corner exit, but the 3 of Hearts is teammates to Matthew Bell. Bell's going to stick with the outside to give the momentum to Weishart. Heading into 3. Looks a little high in the middle of 3 and 4 now. See what the 43 can do as they work their way off 4.
Almost thought they were going to go 3 wide there for a second, but Bill's just trying to get a good run off the corner. Something he can work with. I'm curious to see if he's going to be willing to make this a 3 wide battle, but all this fighting is allowed. Cameron Hearn and Justin Munsell, drivers who've been trailing this battle for a while. They're finally back in the mix as here comes Weishart. He's going to get a great run off the corner this time by.
I think he'll clear Hearts, and here comes Bell trying to get that 3rd position away. As if Skyoli didn't have big enough lead, this will just extend that even further as Hearts has to give way. The 33 still up the racetrack though, but now the side-by-side battle is for that 3rd spot as nearly 2x2 between 2nd through 6th position as Michael Muhammad comes up on some of these lead lap drivers with fresher tires.
Ooh, Hart still sending it down in, but there you see the outside lane just too much for Hart as Weishart clears himself. Bell to the outside of his teammate now for 3rd. Hearn following it, and so is the 6 of Munsell. And Hart's just falling down the leaderboard as they work their way through 3 and 4.
Aaron sideways off the corner, trying to get enough momentum going here, fighting with Ryan Arts, who might end up losing a couple spots here, trying to fight with Weiser. He's lost a spot to Bell. Now Cameron Hearn trying to see if he can gain another spot and put himself up into 4th and complete the pass.
You see Weishart's completely changed his line. He's just running the middle through 1 and 2 exclusively. He's not giving anyone a shot at that right rear, which is the right way to drive this track as Hearn does complete the pass on Hartz. Now here comes Munsell to put him all the way back to the 6th position. Munsell tries to get back into the top 5 after falling out.
John Furness, if they keep this up, he'll be closing in on this battle soon as they work their way into turn 1. Hart's going to try and send it in to clear himself in front of the 6 to stop the bleeding, and it looks like that'll happen. But run off turn 2 from Munsell. Here he comes down low. Going to look for that 5th spot once more, heading into turn 3.
Munsell using the advantage of that run off the corner. He's going to look to the inside, might wash up a little bit off the corner. Can't quite keep that car planted down. But Hartz will get enough of a run off before he will keep that spot up ahead. Matthew Bell, he's closing in on that 33. All this battling has added just about another second to James Scully's lead up ahead.
Yeah, Munsell got pinched real hard. Nothing he could do when that happens. But yes, Skyler is continuing to extend that gap. It was another 1/10 of a second last time by as Matthew Bell is the next driver to mount the charge for this runner position, as is Cameron Hearn. With maybe a little fresher tire, trying to get through both of these guys, but Bell's looking to the bottom of that 33. So hard to get a run on someone when they're running the middle. Couldn't do it there, and now got to be careful trying to make the pass as someone's in the background's pitting. That's Brad Slaughter Jr. from 10th pitting. He pit early the first run. Wow, big dive from Hearn out of nowhere. Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Hey, neither was the 33 of Weiser. He had to gas it up a bit.
Wow.
He's going to be side by side now with Bell down the back. Ryan Hartz could see this as an opportunity to close back in, but Hearn sending it into turn 3, going to clear himself in front of Matthew Bell. Hart's now going to slide in the middle of Bell and Munsell, so 2nd through 6th all in your picture right here, still going at it as Hearn blocks up the track. Here comes Bell, going to be tight going into 1.
Tight going 1 indeed. That was a really big dive for Cameron Hearn, but that played out and worked out in his favor. You can see right in behind Justin Munsell trying to look on an outside move around the 6. Sorry, to move around the outside of the 3, Ryan Hartz, in his number 6 Toyota Supra. Now looking back to the inside, Ryan Hartz just trying to find some sort of way to keep him in behind and also work around Matthew Bell, who is slow and pitting.
That's pretty early. Oh, here comes Furness flying in. Wow. That was a late commit, but he did definitely make it on speed. That was daring, but we've seen track position be very important, hard to pass. Not too surprising to see these drivers pit a little earlier than normal.
Indeed, and Dom DeLeo went 60 laps on a tank of fuel, so these guys are definitely within their window to make it to the end if we go green here to the finish. So Have to see how that comes into play as Scioli's going to continue to stay out and lead. Meanwhile, battle for second continues between Hearn and Weishart. And hey, oh, here comes the 6 of Muffle. I was just about to.
No.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well,
that's
He's
going
trying
to
to
cost
corral
some
it.
time.
He crossed the line at 70, so I don't even know if he made that.
Yeah,
So
this was a very, very late commitment on the pit lane. And getting a confirmation from race control, this will be a black flag.
there is no way he was
yeah.
making that way
Yeah.
too fast. So it's just unfortunate. Munsell so much speed, but hard to harness it on pit entry sometimes. It is a sneaky tough pit entry at Vegas with the banking transition. You think you have a lot of room, but you really don't. As I think you can see, he kind of knows what's coming. Well, he obviously knows. He already sees the black flag. As lefts go down, he does not go. Although Beckner gets out of pit road.
Yeah, you can see
Still
the
looking-
disappointment in his face.
Oh my
Just annoyed with
goodness.
what happened.
Oh, Furnace and Therian just crashed in turn 1. Caution
wow.
down.
oh my gosh, huge hit.
Oh my goodness! Someone else
Massive.
almost hit.
Massive playoff implications here between two playoff drivers.
Oh man, I was just about to point that out. They got 3 wide in the turn 1. Some drivers on new tires, some drivers not. Yeah, this stacked up
4 wide.
early. Yeah, 4 wide. I think stacked up behind
Right center
the
Zach.
09.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ooh, hip check from 43 and net code between the 28 and the 38.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Can't really blame that on anyone, but it was really Therian who, I think Therian and Senesac both on old tires, everyone else new tires, stacks them up out of the corner, and then Bell got loose on the apron, came up. I don't even know if he thought they were 3 wide. You can see here, Bell just
trying to see if I can get Shane Terrian's point of view. Raising the score.
this sure as heck changes everything. Almost like Furnace kind of got squeezed from both ends. He got hit by the 43, and then Therian came down off the wall like he wasn't 3 wide himself. But huge hits for both those drivers. Severely changes the playoff grid, as it also flips the field with drivers probably a lap down.
I would say he was Slaughter. I think he'll get the free pass. It looks like he was the first one a lap down. So where's Matthew Bell? Bell might be stuck a lap down in this predicament.
Yeah, he's got to take the wave, as does... I don't know, is this... No, it doesn't save Munsell, but he does at least get one of his 2 laps back. Beckner as well is in the same situation. He's going to have to take the wave, but it's another break for Scioli as... Well, not really a break. He loses a 4-second lead as he gets off pit road first under yellow.
Yeah, it's kind of generally good for everyone in trying to chase the number 7 because his lead's eliminated and everyone's reset on tires. The Shane Terrian getting repairs to his car, Tom Bourne sitting in pit lane, and a bunch of drivers, everyone from 14th on back, waiting to take a wave around. But yeah, take a look again at the playoff picture coming into tonight. And you can see right there, 2 names right on the right above and below the cutoff line. Shane Terrian and John Furnace involved in a pretty big accident, effectively taking both drivers out of the race. I mean, they're definitely not going to be competitive.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, it is huge, 100%. We're talking about in pre-race how with these being 2 race rounds, you really can't afford to do anything. You can't afford to make any sort of mistake, and we just saw 2 playoff drivers make huge mistakes. Both drivers who came into the night separated by 2 points on that cut line. That is going to change big time.
Indeed, as all this does is give a little reset for a good bit of the field, including the race, well, presumed to be race leader number 7 of James Scioli. We've crossed 50 to go, and the Rick's Hot Sauce machine is pretty fast as always. So race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. You can try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or the flavor on board the number 7, the South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. We only got a couple more races in the Cup Series this season, so it's going to be winding down in the point standings. $100 on the line. That could get you a good steak, Finian.
I'm sure the driver who wins that is definitely going to be looking forward to that. I'm also looking at Skyler. You can see he's really starting to run out of place for all the stickers. 9 stickers on that number 7 machine.
It reminds me of the year everyone was winning in the 54 car in the actual Xfinity Series. They had no room by the end of the season.
Sorry, 8 wins, I should say. I don't know where I got 9 from. Sorry, 8 wins on James Kelly. 8 wins this season so far for him. And he's potentially going to be 9th if he keeps his dominating performance here tonight. 67 laps led, so he's locked in. Not that it was really much of a contest, shaping up early on for most laps led this race.
He probably finished
extending that points cushion.
He probably finished like 15th and still be locked in on points. So as we get one to green, everyone takes the wave around. Most importantly, Munsell, Bell, Beckner, a few guys who were at the front. Also Ryan Hartz, who were at the front before. As honestly, looking at Shane. Yeah,
sorry, I just want to mention Ryan Hartz got boned with this caution. He's back in 21st.
Yeah, he's going to be at the very back of this line of wave around, so he has a lot of ground to make up. And was going to know Therian, who's coming back around. For the hit I thought he took, that 38 car really doesn't look too bad. The 28 is junk, but Therian might actually be able to be somewhat okay.
Yeah, actually, like Hunter, that car doesn't look too bad.
We'll have to see how the run plays when they go back green. It might look okay, but under the 38 there might be some more damage than what we see. But I don't know. We'll have to see when the green flag flies.
See what happens when the green flag flies, and it's just about to fly here. You can see a lot of drivers mixed up in the top few spots. The first 4, not too surprising. James Kelly, David Weiser, you can say that Bryce Sennesack is a surprise with Cameron Hearn next to him. Then it's Ed Roberts and Nick Silver, Steve Durham, Casey Lakatos, and Tom Bourne with Shane Abbey rounding out your top 10. This is going to be a wild restart. Here we go back green here at Vegas, and you can already see in the background drivers fading out 3 wide just past the stripe.
Beckner was the first one to make the move. He just boxed Matthew Bell in behind Therian as he does look somewhat off pace, but still passing cars as Beckner got a lot of ground there. But how about Bryce Sennesack getting the 4th out of all this? Battling for his 2nd now. Hearn looking 3 wide. Now a strategy by the 7 to take the top line to make sure Weishart couldn't get away, but I think he will get this runner-up position.
Yeah, Weishart clears for 2nd, and Scioli's starting to check out again. 4-car length lead. Great restart from him as they're 3 wide in the back with Beckner in the middle, Bell following as well, trying to make up as much ground as possible in turn 1.
You can see him shoot the gap. That's 1, 2, 3. Tries to see if he can get 4th spot, if he can get past Travis Beckner. There's the run. You can see the speed differential with the 38 dropping back. It looks like now he's up to speed. That car is just not quite looking where it needs to be, and this is what we were concerned about with him. The bright side is that car is still running out on the track, and I think that'll help lessen the blow of his wreck, but that's still not looking too hot for him.
Yeah, but definitely I thought it would be much worse, so we'll see what he can at least salvage from this day as Ryan Hartz thought he'd gain more positions. We saw Beckner get through the field a little bit better, but Hartz started at the tail end. He's really only passed 2 cars up to 20th, so he's got a lot of work to do. He could have just been screwed out of a much better finish, but still got over 40 laps to go.
He could be buying his time with the tires because, presuming there's no yellow, this is your run to the end. You want to make the most out of your tires, so save early on and possibly contend for better positions later from saving as little moments are happening throughout the track.
Yeah, it's just he was throwing a block. Much of those Dom
DeLeo
block on the 43. That's kind of interesting because Leo's 2 laps down.
Yeah, but he definitely protected the bottom. That was definitely odd. He's racing absolutely no one. But giving the 43 some racing here for sure, as 43 has some door damage from that incident, but I think he'll be somewhat okay as a battle actually for position at the front. This is for 9th. Shane Abbey, Garrett Grant, Tom Bourne. All sorts of new players in this top 10 now.
Yeah, Grant going to slot right behind Tom Bourne there. Put him in 11th. Here comes Casey Lakatos down low. Looking underneath the 46 of Nick Silver for a top 5. Haven't talked too much about him today. Got eliminated from the playoffs last week at Auto Club, but contending for a top 10 finish here. To cross the stripe with 40 laps to go at Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure Lakatos would have loved to have a run like this last week at Las Vegas, but never quite was meant to be. But now making up for it here at Vegas, doing really good with this newfound track position. That's a great run off the corner. He's going to have another look to the inside of Nick Silver in the 46.
I just can't get over how many different names are in the top 10 now. Silver, Lakatos, Robertson, Steve Durham's in 8th. That's This is wild stuff. Ed Robertson, or actually, trying to see who that was. Garrett Grant and Tom Bourne just swapped positions twice in the same lap. But you're starting to see those guys who took the wave around, had to take the wave around, come back to the front. Brad Slaughter Jr., highest of those in 12th. Beckner following him in 13th.
Yeah, a whole lot of white numbers in the top 10. Those are drivers not in the postseason. They're just looking to go and win. As Weishart still second, 4 car lengths back. Right behind them, though, a little further back, Matthew Bell, 15th. Since the restart, moved up quite a bit of positions. Hartz has been up 2 spots since we last looked at him. Right behind Rabel.
I also have noted, too, Justin Munsell is a lap down after his what happened to him on pit lane. Was working pretty good up until the last 20 laps for the number 6. He's also got some severe left front damage to do.
I was about to say, I don't think he hit the wall entering pit lane. Don't know. Must have been something on the restart that happened. No clue where that came from. But definitely hurting his progress through the field a little bit. He's trying to catch that 88 of Justin Sobak. That's the lucky dog battle. Separated by a car, those two are right now. And also DeLeo still sitting in front of Matthew Bell.
Ooh, Senesek almost had a run to the outside of Hearn for third. Going to look low here. Hearn going to throw the block. Going to give the 09 the outside, rolling into turn 3. Right behind them, though, it's still a 5th place battle between Nick Silver on the outside, Casey Lacoste on the inside. Ed Robertson watching from behind, might be closing in. Him and Steve Durham as well. But 09 of Senesac to the outside of Hearn, looking for third. Nope, tucks back in line, and into the turn 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is Cameron Hearn saying, listen, yeah, I know you guys got some great track position and fresh tires, but stay out of the battle. This is my battle for the lead. Trying to keep them from interfering and him dropping any further back. David Weisert's been making some good progress. See, the gap went down to around 0.4 of a second, and now he's managed it back down to 3, just about 0.2 of a second, preventing Skyler from breaking away from everyone else. Weiser wants to change that and have a solid shot at fighting that number 7.
Yeah, but still no one's even really been close to attempting a pass on Skyoli. If anyone's going to get close, it is Weishart. It was the closest competition of the 7 on Tuesday night as well, before that crash with Beckner and Skyoli gave Weishart a path to victory, as still battles in the top 10 with all these new white names at the front. Slaughter's still now 10th position, highest of the wave arounds. Beckner's stuck in 13th, has not been able to get around Shane Abbey or Tom Bourne.
Cameron Hearn, it's like he's a chaperone at a field trip for the elementary school, because he's got to keep all these guys behind him locked in, and we're really focused more on the 33 of Weishart rather than the 09 of Senesag. It looks like he's starting to do just that, creating a little bit of separation. A few laps ago, it was all sorts of chaos behind him, as could see a 3-car battle for the win, but Senesag going to try and reel in the 67 of Hearn as they roll off turn 4.
Yeah, you can bet that Senesag wants to make this a 4-car battle for the win, but it's funny you mentioned the chaperone comment, because Cameron Hearn was basically doing that early in the race with the leaders. He was holding up a couple guys. I don't really want to say he was holding them up. They were just kind of stuck in behind him, because he wasn't running slow. He was running still within 2-3 seconds of the leader. Just it was a struggle for anyone to get past him, and they developed a little bit of a train, which we've seen quite a bit throughout the pack. 3, 4, 5-car trains or drivers stuck in behind another. And while it's not impossible to pass, it's definitely tricky and hard to work past someone, especially when they're so close on speed.
Yeah, it is so difficult to get it done. Yeah, everyone's so close on speed. Everyone's so close. It just, fixed setup. It's just part of the nature. So you got to really take advantage of drivers' mistakes if you're going to make passes here. We've seen passes be made because of that. So see if Hearn can maybe capitalize if 33 or 7 make mistakes. But they're not very prone to doing those as those two come together. As Slaughter and Durham almost came together. That was the battle for 9th as Slaughter continues to come through the field.
Yeah, very close there between the 9 and the 1 of Slaughter and Durham. Durham's going to look low heading in the 1. On board with the 7 of Skyoli. That 33 car is closed in quite a bit of ground. This is the closest that we've seen anyone to the 7 of Skyoli, other than the initial start or restart. Other than that, it's been smooth sailing for the 7, but over the last 10 laps or so, that 33 car is closed in quite a bit. The 2 car lengths of our leader heading to 30 to go.
I do have to say, before we get to you fading in the battle, at the back is what's pretty interesting right now. Matthew Bell is struggling, and he's got a train behind him. at this point. But wow, Weishart is reeling the leader Scioli in as well. So that battle's volatile, and so is that battle for 15th, because that 43 is way further down on pace than I thought he would be.
Oh, the 3 gonna wash him to the 18. Almost collects him in a wreck. That could have been disastrous there. I want to take a quick look at that.
Also want to note John Furnish just got back on track. Wow, that was close. Saw a lot of that Tuesday.
Yeah, looking at the points right now, it's not looking good for these guys outside the top 10. Hart's 21 back, Furnace 17 back, Darian and Bell both 10 back on the outside looking in. But in at the moment, Scioli leading. Hearn plus 24, Weishart plus 12, and then Travis Beckner, even though he's still outside the top 10, has a 10-point cushion to the cutoff at the moment.
Field working their way out of turn 4. Casey Lacotte is trying to hold off Garrett Grant. It's about for 7th place. Brett Slaughter in the background going in the apron, trying to see if he can make up some ground. Weishart's progress has stalled at around 0.2 of a second. He's gotten fairly close to that 7. This is the closest we've seen anyone get to the back of James Scioli after he typically just drives off into the sunset. Weishart looking and shaping up like he can make a challenge.
Weishart's certainly trying to challenge, but how much of his tire is he burning off right now to just even stay with the 7? It's such a task as Slaughter and Lacotte go side by side. The 50 starts to drop a bit. That is for 8th position. As this battle's still raging on. Ryan Hartz has just not been able to pass these guys. He's dove to the bottom the last 2 laps. He just cannot clear anyone down here. That's how hard it is. As you can see how much speed he can carry compared to Colin Farnborough, but just no run on the exit. But he will clear Rabel with a big slide to boot, as Rabel won't challenge him back.
Back up front, though, Weishart is on the bumper as Scioli for the lead. Thought he would have a chance going into turn 3, but decided not to. But again, closest we've seen anyone to the 7 is Scioli, and Cameron Hearn is right behind as well. So is Senesac and Nick Silver. So the top 5 all within a second of each other, looking for that lead as they come off turn 2 down the back.
As I say, we're going to have a solid race on our hands here. We thought this might be Scioli running away with it, but in the closing laps here, just about 25 laps to go, Weishart looking like he can really start to pose a solid threat. He's reeled him back in again. This gap expanded out quite a bit now. It's expanded back in towards the 33's favor. Trying to see if he can make a move, and don't count out Cameron Hearn. He's still waiting in the wings as well, so in case something happens between the 7 and the 33, he is ready to pick up the pieces.
This is exactly what Weishart needs to do, though. You might not be able to beat him on long run pace, so you try to push short run. You got to try to get through his bumper and loosen him up. Really make him use those rear tires the most you possibly can. I think that's the only way Weishart can make this pass, if you get him aero loose and really make him use his stuff. But that might also play into Cameron Hearn's favor if those two get side by side. Weishart's got a pretty good run here.
So does Hearn. Hearn's been running the outside of a handful last bit of times, as we see the 33 do the same, but you were on the outside, try to get a run down the back, which is kind of what Weishart has done. Going to close back in on the 7. Not going to be enough, though, to challenge for the lead, but Scioli's starting to take notice as they work their way through 3 and 4. Man, really close there, but how about Senesac? Holding his own in 4th. Didn't think that those that got shuffled up towards the front would stay up front for too long, but they proved me wrong. Senesac, Silver, Robertson, Grant, Lacotis, and Durham, they've all held their own inside the top 5 and top 10.
Ooh, Weishart's going to have a run here.
He's going to have a decent run off the corner, similar to what we saw last lap, but I don't think it's quite enough unless he just decides to throw it into the quarter and send it for a Hail Mary, which at some point it might come down to. It depends on how desperate the 33 Weishart is. This is going to be shaping up to be a good finish for him and a good point save, but how badly does he want that win? Especially take it away from the 7.
Well, plus 12 isn't that big. It's not big enough of a gap to really be comfortable with the 30-car fields. The Pro Series polls, he goes to the bottom this time, just follows the 7. Maybe try to get him loose there, which the 7 did wiggle a little bit, but he lost some time.
Hearn closed in as well, so it's a 3-car battle essentially for the win. Senesac buying his own in 4th. Ed Robertson looking to get a strong run on the outside as we have a car down pit road. Robertson closing in on Silver for 5th as they come across the stripe with 21 to go.
That was Michael Muhammad who pit.
Ed Robinson going up on top, trying to see he can break up a run. He gets
Oh!
wicked
Oh,
sideways
man.
and almost wrecks it off of the corner. That was almost a caution right there.
Great save, and also didn't lose. That was almost like a slide job. That was almost like a slide job down the track. You see, get a good view from Garrett Grant. He slide jobbed to 5, and he was the one on the top side. Look at this.
Whoa.
Oh, good job from Grant to hit the brakes.
Almost like he recognized that there was a run coming from the inside for Grant and decided, nope, I'm going to do it now and shut the door
Yeah,
unintentionally.
It was calculated, 100%.
Oh, they're still going at it.
Yep, here they come. There's Garrett Grant working on the outside. Gets a decent run on the 64. And he will clear him, no questions asked. So Garrett Grant up to 6. Michael Muhammad, you can see they're coming out on track 25th. It's 3 laps down. Fresh tires to his name. Cameron Hearn closing in on the 33. So this is really the closest they've all been. 0.3 of a second separating the top 3.
And they are starting to put a gap on that 09 of Senesac. But like mentioned a few minutes ago, great run for the 09 to stay up here. He is all on his own. Nick Silver's dropped off. Garrett Grant's mounting a charge. But these top 3 are getting close. I think Hearn is going to be faster than the 33 soon enough, but it's going to be a challenge to get by the 33 and then still have something for Skyler. Just not sure if it's going to be possible, but if anyone can do it, it's at 67.
If they get side by side here, that might be it. If the Hearn and Weishart machines go at it, but one thing I'm looking at here is Muhammad passes 09 of Senesac. That is Muhammad. He pitted recently, fresh tires. How does this affect the outcome for the lead? If he chooses to pass them, or they tell him to lay back and let him race it out?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big question, right? Because he is faster. He ran a 32.2 last time by leaders, or 32.5, 32.6. So he's probably going to get by, though. They're definitely not going to be too happy with him interfering, because it could really give an advantage to someone or a disadvantage to the others, depending on where he catches them and gets around them. So curious to see what he's going to do when he catches them in a couple laps' time. They're so close together, and I'm sure for all 3 of them, the last thing you want is a lap car coming quickly in behind them and interfering.
In certain instances, admins will tell them, hey, just back down a little bit, let the race play out. So see what happens here. He is not really in a battle. Dom DeLeo's a lap ahead, so we'll just see what he wants to choose to do here with Hearn up ahead. And Hearn has lost some time. It seems he lost some time to the 33 last time by. Weishart mounting one more charge, maybe to the 7. He is on the rear bumper as the battle for 5th goes to Garrett Grant at a turn number 4, just barely, as Weishart lost some time out of 4 there.
Yeah, Weishart had a great run through 1 and 2. So he's going to run that outside groove again. Worked for him last time. Had a strong enough run. Oh, this might be a better run here. Not quite,
Not
but
enough.
yeah. Last lap by, he had a strong enough run to maybe send it to the inside, but starting to venture up towards that outside groove, trying to get anything he can out of that 33.
Yeah, I noticed that he's like sitting up in the middle lane on entry and then cuts it down hard in the middle of the corner, and has been getting some good runs. He's got a really good run here down the front straight if he can get and maintain close enough here in 1 and 2. Got him enough of a run here, so he's going to come down, going to make a hard left. You can see him catching up to the 7. If he gets a good enough run, he might have a chance.
Oh, you see, he couldn't really stay below the 7's wake out of 2 that time. He even got under. He cut the wheel down, and he's still really in the dirty air, that 7, big time. So the tire's clearly wearing on the 33 right now. Trying to make something happen, but running out of time and running out of tire.
14 to go. 7 continuing to lead. Muhammad still staying behind the top 3, letting them race it out. As Weishart again trying to get some sort of run from that second groove down the backstretch. It does work a little bit, but it's not doing much.
Looks like Cameron Hearn, we're starting to lose him a little bit out of this battle. His lap time's starting to fall off. Just about a couple hundreds here and there. If they keep going, he might fall out of contention here as Weishart continues to try to close in the number 7.
Man, this battle's starting to kind of spread out a little bit. Battle for 12th is pretty solid. Alex Weaver is shoving Travis Beckner into Tom Bourne. That was almost a collision. As this is actually the battle for 11th. I thought it was just these two, but Bourne is struggling, and Beckner is washing up the track. Oh, Weaver had the lift and missed the wall there.
Big moment there.
Some of the guys further in behind started cutting off under Ryan Hart's in 16th and Matthew Bell in 15th. These guys have not gone anywhere since the restart.
No, this is unusual. We would have thought that they'd be back inside the top 10, kind of like what Slaughter's done, but that obviously is not the case. And then Shane Theory involved in the only caution of the night, 21st, and not looking good in the point standings as there's still 11 laps left. Anything can happen, but time is running out for him and for Weishart to close in and pass the 7 of Scioli.
It's crazy to see because at one point the ticker was full of playoff drivers. Now, from the looks of it, there's only 3 inside the entire top 10.
Yeah, it is wild how things can flip. This reminds me of Charlotte. Remember how crazy that race was when the yellow came out at that point. Absolutely flip-flopped the field. And we're getting a similar situation right now as this battle for the lead still stays close enough to have the eye on them, but still really no challenge to get side-by-side from Weishart at this point, as that battle is staying pretty close. Battle for 4th is starting to heat up a little bit. Garrett Grant, great long-run pace. Ironman of area, approaching start 200 next week, biggest milestone, as he's trying to get close to that 4th position, get it from Senesac before Brad Slaughter can chase them down. As Slaughter, at the same time, he's going for 6th on Nick Silver.
Gonna tuck in down the backstretch there, but the 9 has been on the move over the last handful of laps or so, or really since the restart. He's fought and clawed his way inside the top 10, looking to get a couple more positions, maybe at least one. Oh, might have clipped the wall even coming out of 4. It was either him or Ed Robertson doing that, but he's going to look down low underneath the 46, tucks back in line, thinks better of it in turn 1.
He wasn't quite able to get there, still eyeing up that 46 as the laps start to wind down. Ed Robinson sitting in behind. He's running in 8th place in the number 64. And of course, they're chasing down Nick Silver. Silver started in 18th, up to 6th as they run. Look back up at the lead, and Weishart's really fallen off the last couple of laps.
This is what I thought would happen, though. How hard is he pushing to even stay with the 7? We're seeing it now. 0.2 of a second loss the last 2 times by. And now Cameron Hearn sees that 2nd position right in front of him. It would be a pretty good point to get. It would put him, I believe, 25 above the cut line if that changed. So every point matters. You want as big of a gap as you can get going into the cutoff in next week at Richmond, even with the 7 winning, because 7 winning changes nothing, absolutely nothing. So this would be a big point.
Big point indeed, as Hearn is on the bumper of Weishart. Going to send it in for 2nd. Meanwhile, right behind them, you got battle for 4th. Senesac and Grant going at it. Hearn completes the pass. Weishart trying to cross him over as Grant and Senesac side by side off turn 2. Down the backstretch, battles all over, but Hearn is clear and sets sail away from Weishart. This battle for 4th continues in the middle of 3 and 4.
It was a great battle for, sorry to cut you off again, Fadian, but the battle for 12 is really going well as well. Chris Rabel just flew by Beckner and Weaver. Those two have been battling so hard, and Rabel just come past him like it's nothing, and Weaver might finally have Beckner here, who's losing pretty valuable points.
And back out of this battle, Senesac and Grant continuing on again, but Grant is going to win out in this duel as we look further back up. Cameron Hearn versus David Weishart here in the closing laps. Meanwhile, James Kelly up over a 2nd ahead of these two.
Yeah, the battle for the 2nd position is what's good at this point. I just don't think David Weishart can get by Cameron Hearn without a mistake from the 67, as that time by 4 laps of racing to go, as a 33 really wore him off, but can't blame for trying. He's in a good point spot as they run, a decent one at that, and the win to advance the Homestead's just dangling in front of you. Might as well drive hard, try to get it, because you know Scioli, you're likely never going to beat him on the long run, so you had to try short run.
Robertson still trying to find a way around Brad Slaughter, as Slaughter's actually still trying to work himself around the 46 of Silver for the 6th spot. 6, 7, and 8, and then 9th place Steve Durham right back there, so don't count him out just yet. Less than 3 to go from Vegas, and the 7 continues to stretch his lead.
See Vets Auto just trying different lines. You're trying to see keep the 64 at base. Durham actually catching up to this group of 3, making it a 4-way battle here toward the end of this race. I'm sure for Skyley can't wait for this to just finish out. Doesn't want any wrecks to throw chaos into the mixture. Tom Bourne gone past Casey Lakatis, and Chris Rabel looking like he's catching up to the 50 pretty quickly here. 2 laps to go at the line. Gaioli then looking back. Cameron Hearn, David Weishart. Skipping a few drivers there. Garrett Grant in 4th, 4-car in 5th place. Bryce Senizek rounding out your top 5. Nick Silver, and this whole swarm of cars. This could be a caution here. Something happens in the next half a lap.
Well, they might crash, but they're going to have to do it very quickly to get Scioli before he crosses the line. That's how far that 7 stretches his lead as he'll come across the line in just 2 seconds. White flag's out. Race is official. That battle will continue, crash or not.
Still got it, though, but there is a chance for some bumpers to be used in this.
They look like they're going to be used.
They're getting a little bit dicey back here as they continue to fight. This is all a battle for 6th position, just outside the top 5. Taking a look back at Cameron Hearn and David Weishart, no change in for them. Meanwhile, James Scully rounding out a turn 4. 8 wins this season, 4 poles positions, but after tonight, 5 poles and win number 9 for the number 7 car in a dominating fashion here at Las Vegas.
And Silver gets 6th, then Slaughter Robertson, Durham back there. Tom Bourne gets top 10 away from Chris Rabel. And that battle for 16th was hot as well, as Hart's barely got that. So what a topsy-turvy race this turns out to be. But the only constant was obviously the Rick's South Beach Heat Camaro of James Skyerly getting yet another victory, Hunter.
Yeah, the 58-point cushion wasn't good enough for him. Decided to get it out of the way with a win. Weishart congratulating him, and that's the one thing that's kind of skewed about this. So Scioli races for David Weishart Racing in the Pro Series. Weishart races for Slaughter Sim Racing. Him and Cameron Hearn are teammates, so kind of a mixed emotions there. But Weishart got one of his drivers into the Championship 4 for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series, and now him and teammate Cameron Hearn will look to lock themselves in next week from Richmond. But for now, it's the South Beach Heat number 7 celebrating here in Vegas.
Yep, you can see right there, James Scully, another winner here as we go through your finishing results. James Scully with the win. Cameron Hearn sitting in 2nd place. David Weishart in 3rd. All your playoff drivers in the top. Well, the only playoff drivers in the top 10. Everyone else on that list is outside of the playoffs. Garrett Grant, Senizek, Silver, Slaughter, Ed Robertson, Steve Durham, and Tom Bourne. An unlikely top 10 after just one caution upset the entire order.
Yeah, Ed Robertson, Steve Durham, great finishes for them, as well as Nick Silver. And then you get to see the playoff drivers who either had a crash or maybe just got really screwed out of that yellow flag during the green flag pit cycle. That goes for trying to look Travis Beckner, Matthew Bell, Ryan Hartz, all drivers who had to take the wave around, all drivers who Bell got some damage out of that one and only caution. Hartz got damage on that final run, just couldn't get through the field. And then Farnborough Martin, Mitchell, Shane, Abbey, or a few more drivers, Mitchell and Abbey especially, who had great runs going, but the caution really hurt them.
Indeed, and the rest behind them looking for better days ahead of them, especially John Furness getting caught up in that incident with him and Shane Therian. Justin Munsell as well had a good run going, but sped on pit road, and then the caution came out, kind of saved himself a lap or two, but nonetheless wanted better results at the end of the day. Then Jeffrey Wilson, Mason Kane out of the race. Gak Jones and Hudson, I don't think, took to the grid, so they get credited 29th and 30th.
Yeah, that's going to round out your finishing results here. Let's get to our interviews with our top 3. We'll first start talking with David Weishart in the 33 machine. David, we saw you have a hard-fought battle. You worked your way. It was an okay start for you in 9th place. You worked your way up, hard-fought battles through inside the top 3, and you were so close, just within a 10th of a second away from James Scully, but it wasn't enough. Walk us through what happened.
Man, yeah, I gave it everything I had there at the end. The right front was about to blow. So, yeah, just fighting the dirty air that whole last run, and really fought it all race. You know, I started kind of not where I wanted to be. I think I started 9th or something like that, and just kind of slowly made my way up through there. Had a good pit cycle and really I drove really hard to just stay in front of those guys. And then they all pitted, and I was like, man, this is way too early to pit for me. And we got the luckiest of all cautions there with, and unfortunately, it's lucky for us, unfortunate for a couple guys who were in the playoffs. I think they were involved in that wreck. But, yeah, we were able to cycle up through there, and I didn't think I was going to have anything for James. I figured he was just saving his stuff up there in front. He had the clean air, so he could just kind of run whatever line he wanted. I would beat him a little bit in 1 and 2 because I felt like I could wrap the white line a little bit better than him in 1 and 2, but he could get back to the gas and not kick the rear end of the car out in 3 and 4. So he'd keep his momentum up out of 4 down the front straightaway. So tried running the top, and I think that's what killed the right front. Just trying to, pull out all the stops. I didn't want to lose the race without at least trying it. So good points tonight for us. Good points tonight for the team. Good points tonight for DWR. It was like a throwback top 5 there, back to a different league, man. It's really good to see all them guys run up front.
Yeah, well, David, obviously looking after a solid run tonight, you're 12 points clear of the cutoff. So looking into next week, I don't think you're going to be necessarily too concerned with how things are going to be playing out. But looking really at the bigger picture, making it to the Final Four, what do you feel like you have for the number 7 of Sky Olive?
I don't know. I think I had whatever I had tonight. That's what I got. I don't know, where do we go? Richmond?
Yep.
Richmond's okay. It's not my favorite track, not my worst. I struggle saving tires at Richmond, so we're going to have to do some practice there. But there's a lot of fast guys that are below that cut line that had trouble tonight. So you can never count them out. One of them could haul off and win. If I have a mediocre night, there it goes up in smoke. So gotta pay close attention and just give it our best there, and that's what we're going to try to do.
All right, well, David, congrats on your solid third-place finish. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Moving on next to our second-place finisher, it's going to be Cameron Hearn with a solid second-place finish. Was in a hard-fought battle with David Weisert, and a hard-fought battle the entire night. You're in the top 5 fighting everyone, trying to see who would really get to the back of that number 7. Unfortunately, you're just a little bit shy of that mark.
Yeah, James is bad fast. His results show that. He qualified on the pole, and I knew it'd be tough. With this package and the way the aero is on this car, if you try to pass a few cars or gain a few positions, it's so easy to wear out the right front and get the aero push. And just that last run, Bryce was battling me pretty hard the first 10 to 15 laps of that run, and I kind of had to overdrive it a little bit to hold him off. And luckily, Dave got real close to James and got some of his dirty air and kind of burned up his tire a little bit too. But when James gets clean air in the front, it's pretty tough to not only catch him but run him down. So, but a good points night. Almost safe going into the next race. Don't need something catastrophic to happen, but that's what we came here to do.
It was a solid run for you, Cameron. Looking at next week, we're heading into Richmond. And you're actually second place in the points. You're 26 above the cutoff line. So I think you're going to be looking more just trying to get a win. How do you feel at Richmond? Do you think you have a chance at getting that win?
Yeah, I do a lot better at the tracks that require a good bit of braking, a little bit flatter. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of different lines you can run there, and you can make some passes. So I'm looking forward to it. Going to kind of use that as kind of momentum going into the final race of the season. But give a shout out to Mom and Dad watching tonight. You guys for the broadcast. Hopefully I'll be back and give an interview next week.
All right. Well, hopefully looking forward to it. Thanks for talking to us, Cameron.
All right. Thanks, Finian.
All right. And last but certainly not least, the man we pretty much have a spot reserved for at the end of these interviews. It's the number 7 of James Kelly. James, I wouldn't say you necessarily ran away with it. You were very close. Your competitors were very close behind you all day, but I want to take a look at how many laps you led here tonight. 114 out of 130. It's hard to say that you haven't done well for yourself here.
Yeah, it was a good one. Definitely, it hurt to see that caution, but especially with a 4-second lead. But I knew when I came out of the pits, I was just going to try and use the clean air to my advantage, and I was just kind of trying to stay married to the white line. It seemed I kind of learned something in the second run, just holding it really, really low, even on exit, seemed to really help the right front. and that's kind of when I was starting to pull away from those guys at the end of that run. So I knew I just kind of wanted to stay right on the white line and not let anybody get to my outside. David had a couple good runs, but the outside of 3 and 4 was really tough, so I knew he was going to have to tie momentum into turn 1, and I was just getting out of 3 and 4 so good all day, so I was just able to hang on. It was a fun race, fun to race with those guys. David's really good here, and Cameron's always, I mean, both those guys are always fast, so it's fun to race with them. I know they're going to race me clean, so hopefully we put on a good show for the broadcast.
Oh, definitely a good show. And I wanted to ask there at the end, we saw Weisart get so close to you, just about over a tenth of a second behind. Was that planned? Was that you trying to save your tires for the end of the race? Because we obviously saw Weisart and even Hearn fall off a little bit. Or was that them just kind of finding something out and catching up to you naturally?
Yeah, I was definitely trying to save, and I was really worried that it wasn't working when David was able to stay so close for so long. It took a long time for the saving to actually mean something, and then those last 10 laps I was just able to run away a lot. So yeah, just kind of trying to manage the pace and just use the clean air to my advantage, not let anybody get to my outside. It was tough to pass here all week, so I was just hoping that I could keep the clean air and not let anybody get alongside me.
All right, well, you managed to pull it off, so congratulations, James. Looking, obviously, the next few rounds, I think as far as points are concerned, it's a non-factor. I believe you are locked in for the next round, if not extremely close to being locked in. So
I think he's a winning.
Oh yeah, I
next
forgot.
week.
Right, winning you're in. Yeah, so not even to worry about. I mean, even heading into tonight, you had 58 points of a lead. It's been relatively smooth sailing for you in these playoffs. You hadn't had a whole lot of things to be worried about. But heading into the final round at Homestead, what's the game plan? Obviously, everything coming down to one race. Do you feel like you got what it takes, especially with how dominant you've been this season, or are you still worried about some of the guys like Weishart, Cameron Hearn, John Furness, or Ryan Hart's coming back at you?
Yeah, definitely don't want to get too comfortable. You can win 14 of these 15 races and still lose the championship, and so just don't want to get too ahead of myself. Don't want to think that I already have it in the bag. These guys are good week in and week out. I haven't run Homestead in a while, so I know it's going to be a good race. I mean, you never know when a yellow's going to come out either, and short runs are always chaos. So definitely nothing sewn up yet. I'm glad to be into the championship round, but the plan doesn't change. Just try and win out from here and just keep doing that.
Yeah, I actually meant that next week, James. You're a must win. You need to win, otherwise you don't make it.
Oh no. No. I'll see what I can do.
No, but seriously, James, thanks for talking to us. Fantastic job tonight. Win number 9. See if you can make it win number 10 next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Want to give a huge shout out to you guys for capturing the battles for the win like you guys do. They always look great, so thanks for doing that for our viewers. Huge shout out to the admins. Just big thanks to everything they've done. It's a long season. They're going to get a much deserved break here soon, so just really appreciative for everything they do. Big shout out to DWR. We're leading the points pretty good there in team standings too, so hopefully we can close that out. And then Rick's Hot Sauce, Dandles Candles, Matco Tools, Butt Kicker, Chris Sports Cards, and huge shout out to Elwood Designs for making us look good on the track and putting all those tiny win stickers on there. Hopefully we can add a couple more.
All right, James, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck to you next week at Richmond.
Thanks, guys.
All right, with that, guys, that's going to be wrapping up interviews here tonight. What are your final thoughts here from Las Vegas?
James Scully could probably, with the way his season's gone, he could probably finish 20th at Homestead and win a championship. It's just been that type of season for him. Absolutely dominant at every track type we've gone to, short track. He's even been fast at super speedways, mile and a halves. We could go to a figure 8 and he could win that too at Irwindale. So no doubt he's the favorite in this Pro Series right now, especially to give him an extra week to prepare for Homestead in this Pro Series. Is going to be so hard to beat him. But now we shift to the cut line and which drivers can maybe win their way in and which drivers are going to be in a must-win situation. There might be a few of them below the cut line, Hunter.
A good bit below the cut line as, well, it was a very good race for Cameron Hearn. He jumped up all the way to second in the point standing, so he's the highest now without a win, plus 26. Weishart plus 12, Beckner plus 10, and then those that really got screwed from that caution tonight are really below the cut line. Therian, who was involved in that wreck, minus 10. Matthew Bell, who was running up front and then pitted at the wrong time when the yellow came out, minus 10. Furness involved in that, minus 17, and Ryan Hart's also a lap down when that caution happened after pitting, so he's minus 18 as well. So it's going to be a must-win for a couple of these guys. Maybe some can point their way in, but we have to find out next week in Richmond, where we cut the playoff field from 8 to 4.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I always love having a cutoff race at Richmond. It always tends to lead to a lot of drama with it being a flat, short track, and especially with a lot of drivers desperate to make a move to get themselves in the playoffs. It's sure to be a ton of action. So that's going to be Richmond next week, Thursday night for the ARIA Pro Series. It's also going to be Richmond for the Cup Series Monday night. Tuesday night, Gateway for the Truck Series. But for tonight, my name is Finity Kuna here with Connor Orton and Hunter Sleppy. We're going to be signing out here from Las Vegas. Thank you for watching.